Afternoon, my name is Marcus, and today I'm going to talk to you guys about something near and dear to my heart, which is screen hopping. I'm just kidding. Alright, most of you know what screen hopping is. For those that don't, screen hopping is basically when you go to the movie theaters with the intent of buying one ticket with this, having in mind that you're going to see more than one. And I know you guys think that's morally ambiguous and not really a good thing, but did you guys know that that was legally illegal and can be considered a felony? How do you call it? Normally it's, depending on if you get caught, the problem is, if you get caught, your punishment can vary. It can vary from either you get ejected from the theater or you get arrested and charged with trespassing and petty larceny. How do you call it? Though these are extreme cases with petty larceny and theft, there's been a couple cases within the past 2 years of people being arrested and charged either $1,000 or being put into jail for 6 months in county. And how do you call it? I don't know if it's on the top of my head right now, but I do know that there was a certain case in Midwest where there was a special needs person that refused to get, he refused to see because he didn't know he was wrong and didn't believe that he did anything wrong. He was not a good, he didn't do anything wrong and he didn't want to give up his seat. The police arrested him and he ended up dying in court. I mean, not in court, in the cell. Sorry, it's not that good. He ended up dying in a cell, and this is just something to prove to you that these things aren't taken lightly. Like, this is still a federal crime, and what I'm here to talk to you about is that this should not be federally incriminating. I call it. The reason I believe this shouldn't be federally incriminating is because the movie theaters know that you're doing it. They know that they have people screen hopping. Not only do they know, they allow it. Why do you think they charge so much in concession? Why do you think they have the big, large popcorn, large drinks that you can refill throughout the day? It's because they know. They know, and not only do they make their money off of concessions, really, they only get 5 to 10% commission from the tickets. So the tickets don't matter. Like tickets, they get 5 to 10%. 10 if it's a new movie, 5 if it's a rerun or if it's an old movie. How do you call it? And not only that, how do you call it? They have theaters also, not only theaters, but lawyers believe that this is a petty crime to begin with and shouldn't be illegal because many state that it's a hard push just to even charge anybody with a felony when it comes to screen hopping. But the chance is still there, and they have seen many cases actually go to trial, and it's not pretty. How do you call it? It was Brian Stazar that he is a criminal justice lawyer that expressed that that this is a hard push, this is a hard sell when it comes to charging people with this crime. And how do you call it? And that's about it. That's all I got. Sorry about that.
Excuse me. I knew I had another one in there. All right, Leonardo, this is a topic that's near and dear to my heart, so I'm glad that you're talking about it, but I think you need to make a stronger argument with what you've got here. It takes you a while to get to the proposition, and then the proposition turns out to be a policy claim that should not be federally what's the term? Incriminating, I think you used. That's probably not the way it should be phrased either. I'm not sure that it is a federal crime. It's probably, like you described at one point, a local crime. It's petty. You kind of are equating it with a felony, and it's definitely not a felony. None of the charges that you mentioned, none of the fines or imprisonment terms would have been felony terms as you were describing them. I thought it was a little odd that the one source that you quoted directly, the attorney at the end, Brian Stetzer, I think is the name, that's the one piece of data that you cite, actually says that it's hard for anybody to get charged with this and for it to be taken seriously, which seems to suggest that there isn't really much of an argument here. Theater owners don't seem to be prosecuting anybody. Nobody's going to prison on the basis of this. The closest we get to anything that demonstrates that a problem might exist on this is your reference to a case someplace in the Midwest with a special needs person who died in a cell. And I would like to hear about this case, but I don't have any source being presented. There's not a name even attached to it. I don't get a date. Somewhere in the Midwest is a broad category, so it's not very precise here. You need to have your evidence much more specifically cited in the argument. There doesn't seem to be any pattern that's set up for the argument. I don't see a structure to follow. Like I said, I think the proposition does get identified, but it's phrased as a policy claim. That's a little bit of a problem. And if theaters know it and they allow it, then who is this a problem for? Why are we even talking about this? That seems a little bit strange. The idea that a problem exists is entirely dependent on this example that you've got or some hypothetical example that you're imagining, and I think that those are problematic to show that there is in fact something that we ought to be worried about at this point. All right, thank you.